Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among many other things. Taking a look here today at Veracity, VRA. This is a request from one of my patrons. Thank you, Jonathan, for asking that I cover this here today. And if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor, of course. I'm sure you heard that before. I recommend you do your own research and always take ownership of your own trades, but learn as much as you can from as many people as possible. I don't want you to take what I say here today as the only way to trade. It works very well for me. I have a very high success rate because of it. My patrons can attest to that. Go ahead and reference the link in the description below for that if you're interested in becoming a patron, because I do provide you with signals and everything that you need to be more of an effective trader. So again, check that out. I have an instructional video so you know kind of what you'd be getting into there. Moving forward, though, we're going to take a look at the technical analysis here for VRA. Strictly as charts, no fundamentals here, but I always, again, recommend you do your own research in that sense because there's some cool fundamentals for VRA. So check that out in your own time. But without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and jump right in the charts? Let's check it out. All right, folks, go ahead and take a look here at VRA. And just before you take a look at Veracity, we always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first to get a quick baseline of the market, just to quickly understand what's going on, because most of your decisions for altcoins should rely on understanding how Bitcoin is moving, and if it's something on the ERC20 blockchain, Ethereum is equally as important. So we're going to take a look at that. And just before we do, I like to preface in the sense that I always use TradingView desktop application. That's what this is here. It does have a lot of functionality, and it's probably one of the best charting tools I've ever used. So I have a link in the description below for a free month if you'd like to try before you buy, see if you like it. There's a free version, it's just limited. You only have 2 indicators present at any given time. So just bear that in mind. Moving forward, let's take a look here at Bitcoin. We always look at the 4-hour chart, kind of see what's going on there. We do have the 50-day simple moving average working its way on up to the price action here. And as we can see, the price is kind of staying relatively close to 53,800. That's essentially a new support level that's been fairly well established here in the last couple of days. Now, bear in mind, we have a support level just below that at about 53,000. That was a previous high or more recent high if you go back a little bit further. But generally speaking, we were up above here. So if we lose this support, we'll be in the next channel down below between 53 and 53.8. I feel as if it's going to hold, especially considering the fact that the fear, uncertainty, and doubt meter is essentially considered greedy, not fear. So in that sense, basically just means that we should expect to see a green weekend based on that sentiment alone. There's also some good news in the US here as well. Check that out in your own time, of course, but simply put, there's a lot of good factors here, essentially allowing us to possibly get a nice leg back up this weekend. With the bears and the bulls, essentially the whales taking their sweet time over the weekend, not shifting the price up or down. We should see a nice continuous growth this weekend. Just be mindful, Monday, Tuesday, things do tend to change. Commonly, we'll see more so red days on Mondays and Tuesdays, obviously depending on the overall sentiment. That being said, Bitcoin's in good shape right now. I think that's the end of the story that I just need to explain. That is it. Bitcoin's doing very well, and I think we're looking at 53,800 as a strong support level moving forward. Ethereum can't seem to break this resistance here at about 36.35, or you could just say round number 3,600. Pretty close, plus or minus a few dollars. That's essentially a major resistance level, and it couldn't break that previously as well, but generally speaking, I think it will, and it's just a matter of time, right? So if we start seeing Bitcoin edging up over the weekend here, closer to 56, 57,000, we will see Ethereum follow suit and break this resistance. But for right now, we got the 50 working its way up. That could be a potential support level. We'll see when that happens. Minus that, we got a support level here at about 3,200. That's a secondary support for Ethereum. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here at Veracity. And just before we do, we always want to look at the one-day chart to kind of see, and it's trying to break its all-time high. All right, so simply put, on the one-day chart, we can see here, even though this isn't closed yet, we've got about, 5.1 cents is its all-time high. Now, it's above that presently, but bear in mind, this one-day chart has to close, this one-day candle has to close above that line in order to be considered a support. All right, so it's still a resistance level for the next 2 hours. We'll see what happens shortly. Possibly by the time you watch this video, it might have closed above, and if so, new support level, we should expect new highs moving forward based on that sentiment alone. Because anytime you break an all-time high, it's really, really common for that to work as a stronger support than usual. And in turn, we should expect the price to just continue to increase. Where it's going to go from here, it's really hard to say, but I can tell you if that closes above on the one-day chart, it's a pretty good sign as long as we don't have a significant retracement down, sub 50,000 for Bitcoin, VRA should be in pretty good shape moving forward. Okay, we're up above both moving averages for obvious reasons. RSI is just peaking up over 70, so just bear that in mind. It does work oftentimes. RSI up over 70 works as kind of a support level. So now that it's closing up, or at least should close above the 70 line on RSI on the one-day chart, we could expect it to continue to increase. And if you've seen that happen before, it stays above for quite some time before it comes back down. So we might see a good 3 or 4 days worth of more bullish momentum based on that sentiment alone. But the good news is, the price is over 50, for lack of better terms. Any RSI over 50 shows bullish convergence more so than bearish divergence. We did have a convergence here on the MACD as well in the second. That was roughly 6 days ago. So we'll just go ahead and mark that really quick, kind of see where that correlates on the cloud. So I like to draw correlations between the MACD convergence and the 1 hour chart for the actual Ishimoku cloud. We'll explain more about that here in a moment, but oftentimes there's a pretty close connection. So looking here at the 4 hour, let's go ahead and see if there's anything else. We did have a convergence in the MACD as well at 2100 yesterday. So right around 9 p.m. That's pretty obvious. You can see it right there. Pick it out of a hat. It's pretty easy. But generally speaking, that is right when you'd get a buy signal to go long. Hypothetically, the one-day chart would have been a better buy signal, right? Obviously, retrospect's 2020 here, but simply put, one-day chart MACD convergence, 4 hour chart MACD convergence, they both essentially are very important, and you need to know, that is something you want to look for as a swing trader, hodl trader, even a day trader going into your setups. It's important to note that. It basically just tells us again the bears lost momentum and the bulls have that momentum, that push. Now, it can only last for so long, right? That's where we're going to maybe want to take a look at TD sequential, kind of get an idea of where we're at with the exhaustion. There's a good chance we're getting close to a state of exhaustion here. In fact, let's take a quick look. We're at an 8. And anything over 8, honestly, is considered to be too high, right? So there's a strong chance we're probably going to see VRA kind of taper off for a little while, maybe kind of hover above support here, and then bounce and come back up to the upside. But we should expect a slight amount of consolidation. I would want to see at least 8 to 12 hours of consolidation before it takes another leg up, so that way it doesn't come crashing back down. Anytime a price increases as fast as it did, and by the way, in a short amount of time, it was up over 40%. It's important for it to be able to consolidate and kind of hang out for a little while and go sideways. That way we don't have a significant of a retracement. We need that going into this support level being established, right? So anyways, that's kind of where we're at with the 4 hour chart. We're up above, the 50 and the 200-day simple moving average. Most coins are at that point right now that have, at least moderately recovered. So all in all, in pretty good shape. Let's take a quick look at the Ishimoku cloud. We can see that, roughly about 6 to 10 hours, maybe 6 to 8 hours before we had a convergence on the MACD, the Ishimoku cloud was giving us a buy signal. So when the price breaks above the cloud, it's considered a buy signal to go long. When it's below, considered a short signal to obviously go short. I think that's pretty straightforward. But if you're new to the channel, that's the general concept of the Ishimoku cloud. And then furthermore, too, we see here on the one-day chart, the cloud had already told us previously that we would have wanted to take entry sometime back here. But obviously, we had that convergence on the MACD on the one-day chart that kept the price moving forward. So for lack of better terms, bears are conceding, bulls are taking control, and the cloud was kind of beating us to the punch here. Oftentimes, the cloud is just a little bit ahead. First of all, it's a 1 hour chart, so it moves a little quicker. You can see it a little faster. But for the most part, the 1 hour chart is the most effective time frame for the cloud, and it's pretty consistent in the sense that it has a similar system. There's a lot of moving parts to the cloud, but generally speaking, price above, buy signal. Just remember that. All right, so that is kind of where we're at there for VRA. Let's take a quick look at TD sequential. And we can kind of see here, obviously, that we reached a state of exhaustion there, kept pushing up even further. So, again, with that being that far past the point in which it should have started retracing, back here, but it kept going, means even further that we need to have a little bit more consolidation. But I like this here. I like this. We got 6 hours of so far sideways action. If we can get another 6 to 12 hours of very similar price movement that will come down potentially to bounce off of 5.1 cents, we're going to be in pretty darn good shape here, especially if that one-day candlestick closes above. So I like this here. It's kind of the calm before the storm, so to speak. So I think it's pretty safe to say we might continue to see another leg up or two from VRA, possibly even this weekend. Take a quick look at the 15. I think we're probably going to be well above VWAP. And here's the cool thing. I like this a lot. So the volume weighted average price is the blue line. Basically what it's doing is it's telling us that the volume last 24 hours is expressing itself as a price at about 5.06 cents, right? It was really, really close to that resistance, the previous resistance, potential support level. Therefore, it's going to probably hold the price even further. So that's the great news about it. I like that because the VWAP line is really awesome to be able to help you understand, the price being above, it's considered a support. When it's below, it's a resistance. So this is a continuation of a support with a price action that's confirming the fact that 5.1 cents will be a stronger support level moving forward. So this is even better. I like this. I'm not too worried about the EMA. It's going to be breaking above and below in a state of consolidation like this. So just bear in mind that has nothing to do with it here. But I like the fact that the VWAP line is here. It did get probably outside. Yes, there it is. It was outside the standard deviation lines. So obviously it had to come back down. So when you see a line, when it's anything over 10%, right? If you're over 10% from the volume weighted average price to the current price action, which right here was approximately 16%, it had to retrace and come back down because it was outside of that standard deviation, and it has to kind of correct itself. There's kind of a natural gravity when it comes to trading, if you will. Anytime the price comes above or goes outside the VWAP lines, you're going to notice that it's going to retrace and come back down and kind of hold it within that. It's like a magnetism that kind of keeps the price relative to the volume weighted average price. It's an underrated tool, and I recommend you highly recommend you kind of adapt and use this because it's a very helpful understanding of roughly what's going on. But generally speaking, I mean, outside of all that, we can see that we have bullish convergence. This hasn't broken to the downside yet. It is one of those coins that's looking like it's going to try to take off. In fact, previously it tried to do so as well, but it got kind of stopped out based on the fact that Bitcoin was retracing during this time frame here. So I think it's pretty safe to say VRA is going to continue. How high it's going to go, it's really hard to say, honestly, because of the simple fact that, well, VRA is it responds very well to when Bitcoin does good, right? So let's take a look here just really quick. If we look at April 17th, that's the first major Bitcoin sell-off. See, it came all the way back down here to the 25th, and then it came back up. Most altcoins did this, but it kept getting pushed down from the alternative sell-offs, right? So what, May 12th and May 19th, we got the Elon candle, that was the China candle. Those things all push the price down here. You can, obviously just see right here, May 19th, the hard sell-off. So it's very respondent to Bitcoin selling off, which is what we saw here. So again, pending we have a nice continuation of Bitcoin moving up to just say 60, 70,000, this will likely continue to increase. Obviously, I would say at least maybe half to 1x, if you will. In other words, it should at least, I would say by year end, we're probably going to be looking at 10 cents. But within the next couple of weeks, there's a strong chance we probably see 6 or 7 cents. I think that's very likely. So if you got in somewhere around here, around 1.5, 2 cents, then good for you. Comment below if you got in at that point, because that's really awesome if you did. And maybe you just got in recently here as well. It's hard to say, but all I can tell you is that this one appears to be, it has all the right scenarios, all the right situations, in other words, for a continuation of a bull run. I like the fact that it's consolidating, because you see this here, we got this staircase pattern, right? That's what I preach this to all of my patrons, like, hey, always look for a bull run that has a healthy continuation. I mean, this didn't just shoot straight to the moon, because when it does that, it always has to come down about 50% of the way. Instead, it's up, over, up, over, up, over. It's consolidating healthily. I'm not sure which one we want to use there, but all I can say is I like this continuation here, and it tells me that we're going to probably see another leg up, especially if Bitcoin can continue to stay above 53,800. So 53.8 again is a nice solid support level for Bitcoin. If that holds and we see the price come back up closer to about 56, 57 this weekend, then I think there's a strong chance we're going to see a pretty significant leg up again here from VRA. So yeah, hopefully you found benefit. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Reference my Patreon account as well. I've got a instructional video there, and it helps you understand, kind of what I offer there. It's a really cool situation. I actually send out signals for every trade that I take, and we have a trading bot that just one-click follow. Pretty awesome little situation, but it's a really cool trading community, and everyone there is super, super chill. We're all learning a lot, growing together. Really good experience. So thanks again for joining me here, and I look forward to getting to know you better if you decide you want to go that route. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.